The machines beeping around me were the only sounds in the white hospital room. I was fighting for my life, but I didn't know that my wife was fighting for something else entirely. My name is Mike, and this is the story of how 17 years of marriage crumbled because of phone calls I never knew about. It started when our daughter Emma was just 6 months old. Such a tiny baby with big brown eyes like her mother. I remember holding her little hand through the hospital bed rails, promising I would come home soon. I had been in a terrible accident at work. Construction is dangerous, and that day, a steel beam almost crushed my skull. The doctor said I was lucky to be alive. I spent 4 weeks in that cold hospital, drifting in and out of consciousness. During those long, painful days, I thought my wife Sarah was home taking care of our baby. I thought she was worried about me, maybe crying herself to sleep every night. I was so wrong. The first sign something was strange came with the phone bill. Back in 2007, we didn't have unlimited minutes like today. Every call cost money, and since I was the only one working, I always checked our bills carefully. When I opened that envelope, my hands shook. Not from my injuries, but from shock. Page after page of calls to the same number. Hundreds of calls. Some lasting hours. All while I was dying in the hospital. "Sarah," I called out, my voice still weak from the medications. "Can you come here?" She walked into our small living room, bouncing Emma on her hip. Our daughter was giggling, completely unaware that her parents' world was about to explode. "What's this?" I held up the phone bill with trembling fingers. Sarah's face went white. Whiter than the hospital sheets I had been lying on for a month. Her eyes darted away from mine, looking everywhere except at the paper in my hands. "I can explain," she whispered. "But how do you explain calling another man 300 times while your husband fights for his life?" The number belonged to David Miller. Sarah's high school crush from 15 years ago. A man she claimed meant nothing to her. A man she said she barely remembered. Why him? I asked, though my heart already knew the answer would destroy me. "I was scared," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I thought you might die. I was alone with the baby, and I needed someone to talk to. Someone to talk to." My voice was getting louder, and Emma started crying. "You called him 50 times in one day, Sarah. 50 times. Some calls were 3 hours long." She couldn't look at me. She just stood there, rocking our crying baby, her own tears falling onto Emma's tiny head. "It wasn't what you think," she said quietly. "Then what was it?" Silence. The kind of silence that speaks louder than any words. I had a choice to make. Divorce her and tear apart our family, or stay and try to fix what was broken. I thought about my own childhood, my parents' messy divorce, the parade of step-parents, the feeling of never belonging anywhere. I looked at little Emma, so innocent and perfect. I couldn't do that to her. "Promise me it stops," I said. "Promise me you will never contact him again." "I promise," Sarah said immediately. "I swear on Emma's life, it will never happen again." I believed her. God help me, I believed her. For 17 years, I thought we had moved past it. Sure, our marriage wasn't perfect. My job in construction was dangerous and demanding. I worked long hours to provide for my family while Sarah homeschooled Emma. There were signs I should have noticed. Sarah was jealous, always accusing me of looking at other women or working late to avoid her. She would check my phone, my emails, even follow me to the store sometimes. "If you're not cheating, why are you so secretive?" she would ask. The irony was bitter. She was the one with secrets. I had my own struggles too. The accident that nearly killed me left me with chronic pain. The doctors gave me pills, strong ones. Before I knew it, I needed them just to get through each day. For 5 years, I battled addiction while trying to be a good husband and father. Sarah watched me fight that demon every single day. She saw me go to meetings, saw me throw away bottle after bottle of pills, saw me choose our family over the easy escape those drugs offered. I got clean. 5 years sober, and I've never been prouder of anything in my life. But while I was fighting to save myself, Sarah was living a double life. 3 months ago, everything changed. We were having problems, the kind of problems that make you wonder if 17 years of marriage was worth saving. We decided to separate, just for a while, to figure things out. That's when Sarah decided to come clean. "There's something I need to tell you," she said one evening when she came to pick up Emma for her weekend visit. We were standing in the kitchen of our family home, the same kitchen where we had fought about that phone bill 17 years ago. "What is it?" I asked, though something in her voice made my stomach drop. "Remember David? From high school?" My blood turned to ice. "What about him?" "I never stopped talking to him." The words hit me like another steel beam to the head. 17 years. 17 years of lies. "What do you mean you never stopped?" My voice was barely a whisper. "After you asked me to stop calling him, I couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't." The room started spinning. I grabbed the kitchen counter to steady myself. "For 17 years?" I asked. "For 17 years," she confirmed. I felt like I was drowning. 17 years of marriage, of trust, of believing in us, all built on a foundation of lies. Was it physical? I had to ask, even though I didn't want to know. "No," she said quickly. "Never. It was just phone calls. Just talking. Just talking." As if emotional cheating for 17 years was somehow better than physical cheating. But the story got worse. Much worse. "David died last month," Sarah continued, her voice breaking. I stared at her, not understanding why she was telling me this. "The day he died," she went on, "I talked to him one last time. And he told me about a message you sent him on Facebook. Years ago. He said it upset him, and he never got over it." I remembered that message. After I found out about the phone calls the first time, I had reached out to David on Facebook. I asked him what was going on between him and my wife. I was polite but direct. He never responded. "So," I said. "He said your message made him feel guilty about talking to me. He said it ruined everything between us." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Sarah was angry at me for trying to protect my marriage 17 years ago. "You're blaming me?" I asked in disbelief. "I'm not blaming you, but..." That message hurt him. And it hurt me too. This was when I realized I was dealing with someone who lived in a completely different reality than me. Over the next few weeks, Sarah's story kept changing. First, it was just innocent phone calls. Then it became emotional support. Then she admitted it was infatuation. "I was infatuated with him," she said during one of our painful conversations. "But he never felt the same way about me." If he never felt the same way, why did he talk to her for 17 years? Why did he take hundreds of calls from a married woman? Then came the gaslighting. "You were never emotionally available," Sarah said. "You worked too much. You were addicted to drugs. You never opened up to me." Some of this was true. My job was demanding and dangerous. 2 of my co-workers had been killed over the years. One of them died while I was his team leader, and it nearly broke me. I struggled with addiction after my accident. But I was loyal. Through everything, the pain, the addiction, the stress, I never once betrayed our marriage vows. I wasn't perfect, I admitted. But I was faithful. "Physical faithfulness isn't enough," she shot back. "I needed emotional connection." "So you got it from another man for 17 years?" She had no answer for that. Looking back, I can see all the signs I missed. Or maybe I didn't miss them, maybe I just chose to ignore them because facing the truth was too painful. Sarah's jealousy should have been my first clue. She accused me of cheating constantly, but whenever I offered to take a lie detector test to prove my innocence, she would back down. "I believe you," she would say. But I knew she was really afraid I would ask her to take the same test. She was controlling too, but I told myself it was because she was lonely. She stayed home all day with Emma while I worked. Of course she wanted my attention when I got home. The lies were the biggest red flag. Little ones at first, where she went, who she talked to, what she did during the day. I often knew she was lying, but I couldn't prove it, so I let it slide. I should have trusted my gut. Deep down, I always knew something wasn't right. One of my biggest regrets was agreeing to homeschool Emma. Every year, I asked if she wanted to go to regular school. Every year, Sarah convinced her that homeschooling was better. Now I understand why. Homeschooling gave Sarah the perfect excuse to stay isolated, to avoid making real friends or connections that might interfere with her secret relationship with David. It also made me the sole provider, which gave Sarah complete financial dependence on me while having all day to make her phone calls to another man. Sarah always said she wanted to be a traditional wife. The irony is bitter. Traditional wives don't carry on emotional affairs for 17 years. The hardest part of all this is watching Emma struggle with her parents' separation. She's 17 now, the same age as our marriage when it fell apart. She doesn't know the full truth about why we separated. How do you tell your teenage daughter that her mother has been emotionally cheating for her entire life? Emma is angry at both of us, but especially me. In her eyes, I'm the one who left. She doesn't understand that staying would have meant accepting a lifetime of lies and betrayal. Why can't you just forgive Mom? She asked me last week, tears in her eyes. Some things are too big to forgive, sweetheart, I told her. But that doesn't mean I don't love you more than life itself. She stormed out of the room, but not before I saw the pain in her eyes. The same pain I've been carrying for months. I keep thinking about David Miller. What kind of man carries on an emotional relationship with a married woman for 17 years? What kind of man takes hundreds of calls from someone else's wife? He never responded to my Facebook message all those years ago. Maybe he felt guilty. Maybe he knew what he was doing was wrong. Or maybe he just didn't care about the husband and daughter he was helping to destroy. Now he's dead, and I'll never get answers to my questions. Sarah's story keeps changing, but David's silence will remain forever. I'm 47 years old, and I'm starting my life over. After 17 years of marriage, I'm single again. After thinking I knew my wife completely, I'm learning she was a stranger. The house feels empty without Emma's laughter echoing through the halls. I miss her more than I can express, but I know she needs time to process all of this. Some days are harder than others. Some days I wonder if I should have just accepted Sarah's betrayal and kept our family together. But then I remember that our family was built on lies, and lies don't make a strong foundation. I'm in therapy now, trying to understand how I missed the signs for so long. My therapist says I'm not responsible for Sarah's choices, but it's hard not to blame myself. If my story can help someone else, then maybe some good can come from this pain. Here are the lessons I learned too late. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't ignore red flags because you want to believe the best in someone. Jealousy is often a projection. When someone constantly accuses you of cheating, ask yourself why they're so focused on infidelity. Small lies lead to big lies. If someone lies about little things, they'll lie about big things too. Financial dependence can enable bad behavior. When one person controls all the money and the other has complete freedom, it can create an unhealthy dynamic. Isolation is dangerous. When your partner doesn't want to make friends or be part of a community, ask yourself why. I don't know what the future holds. I hope someday Emma will understand why I had to leave. I hope someday I'll find someone who values honesty and faithfulness the way I do. For now, I'm focusing on healing. I'm 5 years sober from drugs and alcohol, and I plan to stay that way. I'm building stronger relationships with friends and family. I'm learning to trust my instincts again. Sarah and I are officially divorcing now. After months of separation, we both know there's no going back. Too much damage has been done. Too many lies have been told. But I'm not bitter. I'm sad, disappointed, and hurt, but not bitter. Bitterness would only poison my future, and I've already lost enough to this situation. But there is hope. I hope that I'll rebuild my relationship with Emma. I hope that I'll find peace with what happened. I hope that someone reading this will recognize the red flags in their own relationship and address them before 17 years pass by. If you're in a similar situation, don't ignore your instincts. Don't accept lies, even small ones. Don't let fear of change keep you in a relationship built on deception. You deserve better. Your children deserve better. And life is too short to spend it wondering if the person you love is being honest with you. The phone calls that destroyed my marriage are finally over. David Miller is dead, and Sarah can't hurt me with her lies anymore. Now begins the hard work of rebuilding my life from the ground up. But this time, it will be built on truth.